if anybody has spent time around this program during fall camp, they seem to have a chip on their shoulder with that mantra of don't waste the failure of losing the national championship. Have you ever seen a #1 preseason team with that kind of an attitude?
Probably not, but it's sort of a testament to the dynasty that they've established there. And, you know, I don't know that it's always just championship or bust, because Nick has said, you know, not to let that one game define the season for the team, but he's also going to be able to use it as motivation, because when you establish a level of excellency that they have, then if you don't reach that goal, you want to find a way to do it the next time. And it's, you know, I think any coach tries to look for a way to put that proverbial chip on the shoulder, because this time of year, everybody's got a chip on their shoulder because everybody's disrespected and nobody believes in us and this is the closest team and all that jazz. But the great thing about this game is that when those two teams step on the field, all that stuff's over, because these two programs are largely mirror images. Certainly they have their own characteristics, because Jimbo and Nick are similar in some ways, but different in personalities in different ways. But also it's going to be fun because they're largely crafted out of the same prototype. So it's a big boy game for sure.
We've never seen 1 versus 3 in week 1 like this. I know the fans are fired up. This side of the media is fired up. How about for you guys at College Game Day from a national level to start like this?
We've never had an opener like it. As you said, it's great for the sport to be able to start a season with a game of this magnitude. I don't know that it's always great for the development of teams. It might help teams to be able to ease into a season, but for us, and I really think as a measuring stick, it's great for the programs to play. And certainly we're excited to be able to showcase this game, which not only because it's #1 versus #3, but because it's these two teams. And I was talking to Jimbo, not this past summer, but the one before, and he said, you know, people have wanted Nick and me to play for a number of years, and we have. And, you know, it seemed at times that they were on a collision course, and then something would happen to keep the meeting from taking place, and to have them agree to play this game and to risk an early loss and perhaps put themselves in a more difficult situation to make the college football playoff, I think really speaks to their confidence and also the way they want to do things for the good of the game as a whole.
A lot of people have been asking Jimbo and Nick the last couple of weeks about their relationship and about how they mirror each other, as you were saying about the two programs. How do you see it in terms of what kind of coaches each of them are, and in terms of the way they compare to each other?
They're both tough and they're hard-nosed, and they were friends and all of that in the West Virginia roots, but I think it's a mistake to think that Jimbo is just a Nick Saban clone. That's not what he is. He had a background prior to working for Nick. Now, they're both similar in that they're demanding. They set a standard, and they expect people to try to meet that standard to the best of their ability, and they aren't shy about letting people know when they don't. You know, so they're similar in that vein, but their personalities are different, and both have used things that have worked, but they put their own imprint on it. I mean, I was telling the guys in there, it's really remarkable when you look at the relationships, not only from guys who maybe coached for Nick and are now coaching for Jimbo, but Florida State has a backup linebacker that started his career at Alabama. Everybody knows about Jacob Coker. So, you know, I think all of those types of things show how similar the two programs are, but they still have been able, both coaches have been able to put their own personality and their own imprint on their programs.
What do you think Florida State needs to do to win this game? Obviously, they're the underdog coming in, but obviously they think that they have quite a team this year as well.
Oh, there's no question. I've said many times, I think right now, and I may change my mind after watching teams play for a while, but I think this first game in Atlanta will also be the game we see for the championship in Atlanta. I think they're the two best teams. I saw Ohio State last night, and they've got a ton of potential, and they can beat anybody for sure. But to win this game, the #1 thing they have to do is protect DeAndre Francois. Didn't do a great job of that. I know the narrative a little bit has been, well, he held the ball too long. Not all of the sacks were on the offensive line, and that is true, but a lot of them were. So they need to make sure that they protect him. That will be the first thing. And then, you know, the receivers, they don't have many proven receivers right now, so those guys will have to play well.
It's very subjective to say this is the greatest opener of all time, because there's different criteria for what you want to say.
But objectively, it is in terms of 1 versus 3. So I'm sorry, I stopped your question.
No,
what is it? What
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
That's what I was asking, because you say you think they're going to meet again. In your opinion, it makes it the greatest opener of all time?
You know, look, There are a lot of great openers. That Michigan Notre Dame opener for Notre Dame that Desmond played in was a great game. Miami and Auburn with Bo Jackson, Bernie Kosar. That's a pretty good opener. But I think just in terms of the playoff implications potentially, the fact that we haven't seen these two teams meet, that they're meeting when they're at least somewhat similar stages in their ability to be contenders, meaning that you're not Alabama facing a USC team that's kind of still trying to be on the rise, or that type of thing. They're both nearing the mountaintop in terms of being a perennial contender. So you're seeing them both at their strongest points right now. So I think that makes it special, and then obviously the mathematical part of it with 1 versus 3 that we haven't seen on an opening week before.